The unexpected arrival. The prestigious Galactic University of Xenosciences on planet Zeta-9 prided itself on being the most diverse institution in the known universe. Its halls bustled with beings from 1,000 different worlds, each with their own unique biology and culture. But nothing could have prepared them for the arrival of Zhou Chen, a human girl from Earth who appeared in a flash of light in the middle of the grand atrium. Zhou's head spun as she tried to make sense of her surroundings. One moment, she had been in her high school physics lab. The next, she was standing in a vast, alien space filled with creatures beyond her wildest imagination. Towering insectoids clicked their mandibles in surprise, while floating gas-based entities pulsed with curiosity. A group of reptilian humanoids ceased their animated discussion, their scaled faces contorting in shock. Where am I? Zhou's voice quavered, her eyes darting from one alien face to another. She clutched her backpack tightly, as if it could anchor her to reality. A melodious voice rang out, fascinating. A bipedal carbon-based life form, seemingly transported here through unknown means. The speaker, a being that looked like a cross between an octopus and a tree, glided towards Zhou on root-like tentacles. I am Professor Xyloff, head of interdimensional studies. Young one, can you understand me? To Zhou's astonishment, she could. The words seemed to form directly in her mind, bypassing her ears entirely. Ah yes, she stammered. I'm Zhou. I'm from Earth. How can I understand you? Xyloff's branches rustled in what Zhou guessed was excitement. Ah, the universal translator is functioning. Earth, you say? We've heard whispers of your world, but never expected to encounter one of your kind so soon. You're at the Galactic University of Xenosciences, my dear. The news hit Zhou like a ton of bricks. She was no longer on Earth, but on an alien world, surrounded by creatures she couldn't have imagined in her wildest dreams. Her knees buckled, and she would have fallen if not for the quick action of a nearby student, a blue-skinned humanoid with 4 arms who caught her gently. Easy there, the alien said, its voice somehow both gravelly and soothing. I'm Kral. Don't worry, we'll figure this out. As Zhou regained her composure, she became aware of the growing crowd around her. Hundreds of alien students and faculty members had gathered, their curiosity palpable. Some whispered excitedly, others maintained a respectful distance, but all eyes, or whatever sensory organs they possessed, were fixed on her. Professor Xyloff raised several tentacles, calling for calm. This is an unprecedented event, colleagues and students. We must approach this situation with scientific rigor and compassion. Miss Zhou, we will do everything in our power to understand how you came to be here and to ensure your well-being. Zhou nodded, still dazed, but feeling a glimmer of hope. She was, after all, in a university. If anyone could figure out how to send her home, it would be the brilliant minds gathered here. As the initial shock wore off, questions began to fly from all directions. What was Earth like? How had she traveled across space? What was the extent of human technological advancement? Zhou found herself overwhelmed, unable to answer even a fraction of the inquiries. Sensing her distress, Kral intervened. Everyone, please. She's just arrived. Give her some space. The blue-skinned alien turned to Xyloff. Professor, perhaps we should move this somewhere more private. Xyloff agreed, and soon Zhou found herself ushered into a quieter room that looked like a cross between a laboratory and a meditation chamber. Holographic displays flickered with incomprehensible data, while soft alien music played from unseen sources. As Zhou settled into a chair that seemed to mold itself to her body, she took a deep breath and tried to organize her thoughts. Okay, she said, her voice steadier now. I need to know a few things. First, where exactly am I in relation to Earth? Second, how did I get here? And third, how soon can I get back home? Xyloff's tentacles writhed in a pattern that Zhou interpreted as thoughtful. To answer your first question, you are approximately 50,000 light-years from your home planet. As for how you arrived here, that is a mystery we are eager to unravel. Your appearance coincided with a surge in tachyon particles, suggesting some form of faster-than-light travel or perhaps even dimension hopping. Zoe's mind reeled at the distances involved. 50,000 light-years, but that's impossible. I was just in my school lab, working on a physics project with a particle accelerator and she trailed off, a sudden realization dawning on her face. Krell leaned forward, intrigued. You're working with a particle accelerator, at your age, on your world. Zoe nodded. It was a small one, for educational purposes. We were studying quantum entanglement. There was a bright flash, and then I was here. Silov's branches quivered with excitement. Extraordinary. It seems your experiment may have inadvertently created a temporary wormhole or quantum bridge. This could revolutionize our understanding of interdimensional travel. While the professor's enthusiasm was evident, Zoe couldn't help but feel a pang of homesickness. That's great, I guess. But how do I get back? The room fell silent for a moment. Silov's tentacles drooped slightly. I'm afraid, my dear, that we cannot simply send you back immediately. The method of your arrival was accidental and, as of now, unreplicable. It will take time and research to understand the phenomenon and potentially recreate it safely. Zoe's heart sank. How long? Krell placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. We don't know yet, but you have the entire resources of the Galactic University at your disposal. We'll figure it out. As the reality of her situation settled in, Zoe felt a mix of fear and excitement. She was, after all, the first human to make contact with an advanced alien civilization. The scientist in her, the path that had driven her to work on quantum physics in high school, couldn't help but be thrilled at the opportunity to learn about the universe. All right, she said, straightening up. If I'm going to be here for a while, I might as well make the most of it. What do I need to know to survive at an alien university? Silov's branches rustled in what Zoe was beginning to recognize as laughter. That's the spirit. First, we'll need to arrange accommodations for you. Your biology is unique here, so we'll have to create a suitable living space. Then, we'll need to assess your knowledge and skills to determine how best to integrate you into our academic programs. Krell nodded enthusiastically. And I'll help you navigate the social aspects. Trust me, you'll need a guide to understand all the different species and their customs. As they began to plan her unexpected academic career, Zoe couldn't help but feel a sense of adventure. She was scared, yes, and she missed her home. But she was also about to embark on the most extraordinary journey of discovery in human history. Little did Zoe know that her arrival would set in motion a chain of events that would change not only her life, but the entire balance of power in the galaxy. The human girl from Earth was about to make waves in the cosmic ocean of knowledge, and nothing would ever be the same again. Cultural clashes and connections. As the initial shock of her arrival wore off, Zoe found herself thrust into the dizzying world of alien academia. The Galactic University of Xenosciences had quickly arranged a personalized curriculum for her, balancing her need to learn about her new surroundings with the faculty's insatiable curiosity about Earth and humanity. Zoe's days became a whirlwind of classes, each more mind-bending than the last. In comparative xenobiology, she marveled at the sheer diversity of life forms in the universe. During galactic history, she struggled to memorize the rise and fall of empires spanning millions of years. But it was in quantum mechanics and interdimensional theory where she truly shone, her unique human perspective offering insights that left even the most seasoned professors scratching their various appendages in wonder. One particularly memorable day found Zoe in the university's vast library, a space that defied Euclidean geometry. Shelves twisted in impossible angles, holding not just books but crystals, living data organisms, and even what appeared to be miniature black holes containing entire encyclopedias. How am I supposed to find anything in here? Zoe muttered, her head spinning as she tried to navigate the chaos. A lilting voice responded, "Perhaps I can be of assistance." Zoe turned to see a being that resembled a shimmering cloud of bioluminescent particles. It coalesced into a vaguely humanoid shape, pulsing with gentle light. "I'm Lumina," the being introduced itself. "I'm a photonic aggregation from the nebula cluster. You must be the human everyone's talking about." Zoe smiled, relieved to have some help. "That's me. I'm looking for information on Earth's position in the galaxy, but I can't make heads or tails of this place." Lumina's form rippled with amusement. "Ah, a spatial reference query. Allow me." The being expanded, tendrils of light reaching out to various sections of the library. In moments, a holographic map of the Milky Way materialized before them. As Lumina explained the galactic layout, Zoe found herself opening up about her home. She spoke of Earth's diverse ecosystems, the tenacity of human explorers, and the rapid pace of technological advancement that had taken her species from horse-drawn carriages to the brink of interstellar travel in just a few centuries. Lumina listened with rapt attention. "Fascinating. Your species' adaptability is remarkable. It's no wonder you've managed to thrive on a single planet with such varied environments." Their conversation was interrupted by a guttural growl. A hulking reptilian being stomped towards them. Its scales shifting colors rapidly in what Zoe had learned was a sign of agitation. "You there, human," it rumbled. "I've been observing your kind's history. How can you claim to be an advanced species when you spent so much time warring amongst yourselves?" Zoe felt a flare of defensiveness, but took a deep breath. She'd faced similar questions before and had learned to approach them diplomatically. "It's true, our history isn't perfect, but it's through overcoming our conflicts that we've grown. Each challenge has pushed us to innovate, to find common ground, to be better." The reptilian's scales settled into a thoughtful blue hue. "An interesting perspective. Perhaps there is more to learn from your kind than I initially thought." As the days turned into weeks, Zoe found herself forming unlikely friendships across species barriers. There was Krull, the four-armed blue humanoid who had first welcomed her, always ready with a joke or a helping hand. Zorlax, a hyper-intelligent shade of blue, became her study partner in quantum physics, their debates often lasting late into the night. And Lumina, the living light being, continued to be her guide through the labyrinthine library and the complex social dynamics of the university. However, not all of Zoe's interactions were smooth sailing. Cultural misunderstandings led to both humorous and tense situations. One particularly memorable incident occurred in the university's cafeteria, a massive space filled with environmental bubbles to accommodate the diverse dietary needs of the student body. Zoe had just sat down with a plate of what she hoped was edible for humans when a gelatinous being oozed up to her table. "Greetings, Earth Dweller," it burbled. "I couldn't help but notice your waste extraction orifice is located in an unusual position. How fascinating." Zoe nearly choked on her food. "Excuse me," she spluttered, face reddening. Krull, sitting nearby, quickly intervened. "Ah, blowbacks, remember what we discussed about human privacy customs?" The gelatinous being rippled in embarrassment. "My apologies. I forgot that humans consider certain bodily functions taboo for discussion. How curious." As Zoe recovered from her embarrassment, she couldn't help but laugh. These moments of cultural clash, while sometimes awkward, were also opportunities for mutual understanding and growth. But not all challenges were so easily resolved. As Zoe's presence became more established at the university, whispers began to circulate. Some students and faculty members questioned the wisdom of allowing a representative from an unproven species such unfettered access to advanced galactic knowledge. One evening, as Zoe was leaving a late-night study session, she overheard a heated conversation around the corner. "It's unprecedented," a voice hissed. "Giving a primitive species access to this level of technology, it could upset the entire balance of the galaxy." Another voice responded, "But think of the potential benefits. The human's unique perspective has already led to breakthroughs in several fields." "At what cost?" the first voice retorted. "We know nothing about their true intentions. For all we know, this could be the first step in a human invasion plan." Zoe's heart raced as she listened. She had been so focused on her own journey that she hadn't considered the larger implications of her presence here. Was she inadvertently putting Earth at risk? Or was this an opportunity to pave the way for peaceful contact between humanity and the galactic community? As she mulled over these questions, a new voice cut through her thoughts. Professor Xylos' melodious tones rang out. "My esteemed colleagues, let us not give in to fear and speculation. The arrival of our human guest is indeed unprecedented, but it is also an unparalleled opportunity for growth and understanding. We are scientists and scholars. Let us approach this situation with open minds and rigorous inquiry." Zoe smiled, grateful for the professor's support, but as she made her way back to her quarters, a sense of unease settled over her. She couldn't shake the feeling that her presence at the university was stirring up more than just academic interest. Little did she know that her overheard conversation was just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface of daily university life, larger forces were at play. A looming threat to the university and perhaps the entire galactic order was brewing, and Zoe's unique position would soon place her at the center of a cosmic storm. As she drifted off to sleep that night, images of Earth, her new alien friends, and the vast, unknown universe swirled in her mind. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Zoe was determined to face them with the same curiosity and resilience that had defined humanity's journey to the stars. Rising tensions. As weeks turned into months, Zoe's presence at the Galactic University of Xenosciences continued to be a source of both wonder and controversy. Her unique human perspective had led to several breakthroughs in various fields, particularly in quantum mechanics and interdimensional theory. However, these very successes were fueling growing tensions among certain factions within the university and beyond. One crisp morning, as Zoe hurried to her advanced xenolinguistics class, she noticed unusual buzzle activity in the normally serene corridors. Clusters of students huddled together, their voices hushed but urgent. As she passed, conversations would abruptly cease, only to resume in fervent whispers once she was out of earshot. Concerned, Zoe sought out her friend Kral. She found the blue-skinned, four-armed alien in one of the anti-gravity meditation pods, all four of his hands pressed against his temples. "Kral, what's going on?" Zoe asked, her worry evident in her voice. "Everyone's acting strange today." Kral's eyes snapped open, all three of them focusing on Zoe with an intensity that made her step back. "You haven't heard? The Galactic Council has sent representatives. They're questioning the university's decision to harbor you." Zoe felt her stomach drop. "What? Why now? I've been here for months." Kral floated out of the pod, his expression grim. "It's because of your latest paper on quantum entanglement. Some believe it could lead to instantaneous communication across vast distances. The implications for galactic politics and security are significant." Before Zoe could respond, a sharp tone rang through the air, followed by an announcement in multiple languages. "All students and faculty are to report to the Grand Auditorium immediately. Attendance is mandatory." The Grand Auditorium was a marvel of alien architecture, a space that seemed to bend and shift to accommodate beings of all sizes and forms. Today, however, its wonder was overshadowed by the palpable tension in the air. At the center of the stage stood three imposing figures: the university chancellor, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline shell, Professor Xylos, and a stern-looking humanoid with metallic skin and glowing circuitry running across their body. The chancellor's voice resonated through the auditorium. "Esteemed colleagues and students, I present to you Emissary Zix of the Galactic Council." The metallic being stepped forward, their eyes scanning the crowd until they locked onto Zoe. "We have received reports of potentially dangerous advancements originating from this institution, specifically tied to the presence of the human Zoe Chen. The Council demands a full investigation into these matters." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Zoe felt countless eyes turn towards her, some curious, others accusatory. Professor Xylos' branches rustled agitatedly as they spoke up. "Emissary, with all due respect, Ms. Chen's contributions have been nothing short of revolutionary. Her presence here has accelerated our understanding of the universe in ways we couldn't have imagined. Emissary Zix's circuitry pulsed ominously. And therein lies the problem, Professor. Humanity is an unknown variable. We have no way of predicting how they might use this knowledge. The potential for destabilizing the current galactic order is too great to ignore. As the debate raged on, Zoe's mind raced. She had never intended to cause trouble or upset the balance of power. She was just a student, eager to learn and share knowledge. But now, it seemed her very presence was threatening the peace of the galaxy. In the midst of the chaos, Zoe felt a gentle tap on her shoulder. It was Lumina, the bioluminescent being she had befriended in the library. "Come with me," Lumina whispered, her form dimming to avoid attention. "There's something you need to see." Curious and desperate for answers, Zoe followed Lumina out of the auditorium and through a series of winding corridors she had never seen before. They finally arrived at a small, nondescript door that seemed to shimmer in and out of existence. "What is this place?" Zoe asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Lumina's form pulsed with nervous energy. "It's a secure data node. I've been doing some digging since you arrived, and I've uncovered something disturbing." Inside, holographic displays flickered to life, showing a complex web of data streams and encrypted messages. Luminous tendrils of light danced across the displays, decoding and organizing the information. "Look here," Lumina said, highlighting a series of communications. "These are encrypted messages between certain members of the Galactic Council and someone within the university." Zoe leaned in, her eyes widening as she began to understand. "They've been planning this from the beginning, but why?" Lumina's form dimmed slightly. "It's not just about you, Zoe. Your arrival and subsequent breakthroughs have exposed a larger conspiracy. There's a faction within the Council that wants to suppress certain advanced technologies, keeping them for themselves while limiting the progress of other species." The implications hit Zoe like a ton of bricks. Her presence hadn't caused the problem. It had simply brought an existing issue to light. "We have to tell someone," Professor Psylov, the Chancellor. "It's not that simple," Lumina cautioned. "We don't know who we can trust. The conspiracy seems to have roots deep within the university as well." As they discussed their next move, the door suddenly slid open. Zoe's heart leaped to her throat, but she relaxed slightly when she saw it was Kral and Zorlax. "There you are," Kral exclaimed, all four arms gesticulating wildly. "We've been looking everywhere for you." Zorlax, the hyper-intelligent shade of blue, rippled with concern. "The situation in the auditorium is deteriorating. Some students are calling for your expulsion, while others are demanding the university stand its ground against the council." Zoe quickly filled them in on what Luna had discovered. As the gravity of the situation sank in, a determined silence fell over the group. "So, what do we do now?" Kral asked, breaking the silence. Zoe took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. She may have come to this universe by accident, but now she had a chance to make a real difference. "We investigate," she said firmly. "We gather evidence, we find allies we can trust, and we expose this conspiracy. It's not just about me anymore. It's about the future of scientific progress and cooperation in the galaxy." As her friends nodded in agreement, Zoe couldn't help but marvel at the strange turn her life had taken. She had come to this alien world as a lost and confused high school student. Now she stood at the center of a galactic conspiracy, with the fate of countless species potentially hanging in the balance. The halls of the Galactic University of Xenosciences had become more than just a temporary home or a place of learning. They were now the backdrop for a dangerous game of interstellar politics and hidden agendas. And Zoe, armed with her human ingenuity and the loyalty of her alien friends, was determined to unravel the mystery and protect the principles of free scientific inquiry that the university stood for. As they began to formulate their plan, alarms suddenly blared throughout the building. A voice echoed through the corridors, "Security alert. All non-essential personnel are to return to their quarters immediately. This is not a drill. Zoe exchanged worried glances with her friends. Their time was running out. Whatever they were going to do, they needed to do it fast. The game was afoot, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The human advantage. As alarms blared through the halls of the Galactic University of Xenosciences, Zoe and her motley crew of alien friends huddled in the secret data node, their minds racing to formulate a plan. "We need to act fast," Zoe said, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Lumina, can you access the university's internal security feeds?" The bioluminescent being pulsed with concentration, tendrils of light interfacing with the holographic displays. "I can, but there's heavy encryption. It'll take time to bypass." Krell's forearms were a blur of motion as he worked on a separate console. "I'm monitoring communications. It seems the Galactic Council representatives are pushing for an immediate lockdown of all research data, especially anything related to your work, so..." Zorlax, a hyper-intelligent shade of blue, rippled thoughtfully. "We need a diversion, something to buy us time while we gather evidence." Zoe's eyes lit up with an idea. What if we give them exactly what they're afraid of? A demonstration of human ingenuity that's too big to ignore, but harmless enough not to cause real damage. Her alien friends looked at her with a mixture of curiosity and concern. Zoe quickly outlined her plan, drawing on her knowledge of Earth pranks and her newfound understanding of alien technology. As she spoke, she could see the amazement growing in her friends' eyes, or equivalent sensory organs. "That's brilliant," Krall said, his scales shifting to impressed purple. "Crazy, but brilliant." "Indeed," Zorlax agreed, his blue hue deepening. "The application of your species' humor in this context is most unexpected. It may just work." With roles assigned, the group split up. Zoe and Krall headed towards the main power distribution center, while Lumina and Zorlax stayed behind to coordinate and continue gathering evidence. As they navigated the now deserted corridors, Zoe couldn't help but feel a surge of adrenaline. This was far beyond anything she had experienced on Earth, yet somehow she felt prepared. Her time at the university had taught her to think in new ways, to see possibilities where others saw limitations. Reaching the power distribution center, Zoe and Krall quickly got to work. With Krall's forearms and Zoe's human dexterity, they made short work of the alien technology. Zoe's understanding of quantum mechanics, combined with her Earth-born creativity, allowed her to reconfigure the power systems in ways that even the university's top engineers hadn't considered. "Ready?" Zoe asked, her hand hovering over the final control. Krall nodded, all three eyes wide with anticipation. "Let's show them what a human can do." Zoe activated the sequence. For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the entire university came alive in a spectacular display of light and sound. Every holoprojector in the building activated simultaneously, projecting a massive, interactive image of Earth that filled the corridors and rooms. The image shifted and changed, showcasing Earth's diverse ecosystems, cultures, and achievements. But that wasn't all. The gravity systems hiccuped, causing everything to float momentarily before settling back down. Food synthesizers in the cafeteria started producing Earth delicacies at random. And in the grand finale, the university's translation system began spouting Earth idioms and pop culture references, leaving many alien species utterly baffled. "What in the name of the seven moons is a rickroll?" they heard one confused alien professor exclaim. As chaos and confusion reigned, Zoe and Krall made their way back to the secret data node, barely able to contain their laughter. "It worked," Zoe exclaimed as they rejoined Lumina and Zorlax. "How are we doing on the evidence front?" Lumina's form brightened with excitement. "Your distraction was perfect. While everyone was focused on your little show, we managed to decrypt several key communications. We have proof of the conspiracy, including names of those involved both in the council and within the university." Zorlax chimed in, his blue form rippling with what Zoe had learned to recognize as urgency. But we're not out of the woods yet. The council representatives are demanding an emergency meeting with the chancellor and all department heads. They're calling for immediate action against the human threat. Zoe's elation faded, replaced by determination. Then we need to crash that meeting. It's time to bring everything into the open. As they formulated their plan to confront the conspirators, Zoe reflected on how far she'd come. Months ago, she had been a lost human girl in an alien world. Now, she stood ready to challenge the very foundations of galactic politics, armed with nothing but the truth and her uniquely human perspective. The group made their way towards the Chancellor's office, where the emergency meeting was being held. As they approached, they could hear raised voices through the door. This is precisely why the human must be contained. Emissary Zix's metallic voice rang out. The chaos we've just witnessed is proof of their unpredictable and potentially dangerous nature. Zoe took a deep breath, straightened her shoulders, and pushed open the door. All eyes in the room turned to her. With all due respect, Emissary, Zoe said, her voice clear and confident, I think you've misunderstood the situation entirely. The room erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, but Zoe pressed on, her human determination shining through. What you've witnessed today isn't a threat. It's a demonstration of human creativity, adaptability, and yes, our sense of humor. But more importantly, it's a distraction that allowed us to uncover the real threat to this university and to galactic peace. With a nod to Lumina, holographic displays sprang to life around the room, showcasing the evidence they had gathered. Communications logs, financial transactions, and encrypted orders laid bare the conspiracy that had been brewing beneath the surface. As the implications sank in, the room fell into a stunned silence. Professor Xylos' branches quivered with a mixture of shock and vindication. The Chancellor's crystalline form pulsed with barely contained energy. Emissary 6, caught off guard, attempted to regain control. This is preposterous. You cannot seriously be considering the words of this primitive species over a representative of the Galactic Council. It was then that an unexpected ally spoke up. A being Zoe had never seen before, composed of swirling cosmic dust and twinkling stars, stepped forward. I am Counselor Nebula, sent here in secret to investigate rumors of corruption within our ranks. I have seen enough. The evidence presented by the human and her friends is compelling and will be thoroughly investigated. As the conspirators were led away and discussions about the future of galactic politics and scientific cooperation began in earnest, Zoe felt a wave of relief wash over her. She had not only cleared her own name, but had potentially changed the course of galactic history. Krell placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. You did it, Zoe. You showed them the true potential of humanity. Zoe smiled, looking around at her alien friends and the diverse beings that filled the room. No, she said softly, we did it. Together. And I think this is just the beginning. As the meeting adjourned and plans were made to address the student body, Zoe couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement for what the future held. She had come to this alien university by accident, but now she stood at the forefront of a new era of interstellar cooperation and scientific discovery. The human advantage, it turned out, wasn't just about ingenuity or adaptability. It was about bringing a fresh perspective to a vast and complex universe, and the willingness to reach out across the stars to form bonds of friendship and understanding. The Galactic University of Xenartensis would never be the same again, and neither would Zoe. As she prepared to address her fellow students, she knew that her greatest adventures were still to come. Triumph and understanding. The grand auditorium of the Galactic University of Xenartensis buzzed with an energy unlike anything it had experienced before. Students and faculty of countless species filled every available space, their varied forms creating a living tapestry of galactic diversity. The air was thick with anticipation as Zoe Chen, the human who had unwittingly become the catalyst for monumental change, stepped onto the stage. Zoe took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the sea of alien faces before her. Just months ago, she had been a lost and confused high school student. Now, she stood ready to address beings from across the galaxy. The irony wasn't lost on her. Fellow students, esteemed faculty, and honored guests. So began, her voice steady and clear. We stand at a crossroads in galactic history. The events of the past few days have shaken the foundations of this institution and the wider galactic community. But from this upheaval, we have the opportunity to build something greater. As Zoe spoke, holographic displays came to life around the auditorium, showcasing the evidence they had uncovered and the aftermath of their revelations. The conspiracy had run deeper than anyone had imagined, reaching into the highest echelons of the Galactic Council and threatening the free exchange of knowledge across the universe. The attempt to suppress scientific advancement and maintain power through ignorance has failed, Zoe continued, her words resonating with the assembled crowd. But this victory isn't just about exposing corruption. It's about what we do next. It's about the power of diversity, of bringing together minds from across the cosmos to tackle the greatest challenges of our time. She gestured to her friends, Krell, Lumina, Zorlax, and others who had stood by her side. Look around you. In this room, we have beings who breathe different atmospheres, who perceive reality through senses we can barely comprehend. Yet we've come together in the pursuit of knowledge. That is our greatest strength. The audience murmured in agreement, many nodding, or their species equivalent of approval. As a human, I came here by accident, thrust into a world beyond my wildest imagination. But you welcomed me, taught me, and in turn, allowed me to share a unique perspective. It is this exchange, this melding of ideas from across the stars, that will propel us forward. Zoe's voice grew more passionate as she continued. The human advantage that some feared isn't about superiority, it's about complementarity. Each species, each individual, brings something unique to the table. By embracing our differences and pooling our knowledge, there's no limit to what we can achieve. As she spoke, Zoe could see the change in the audience. The fear and suspicion that had clouded many faces at the beginning were giving way to hope and excitement. In light of recent events, the university administration, in cooperation with reform-minded members of the Galactic Council, has proposed a series of changes, Zoe announced. First, a new Department of Interspecies Collaboration and Ethics will be established, ensuring that the rights and perspectives of all sentient beings are respected in our pursuit of knowledge. This announcement was met with enthusiastic applause from many corners of the auditorium. Second, we will be launching an initiative to reach out to other young spacefaring species like humanity. The galaxy is vast, and there are undoubtedly other civilizations out there with fresh perspectives to offer. We must be proactive in fostering peaceful first contact and academic exchange. Zoe could see Professor Silos' branches quivering with excitement at this prospect. The idea of more species like humans, each with their unique viewpoints and innovations, was tantalizing to many of the academics present. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, we will be revising the university's core curriculum to place a greater emphasis on creative problem-solving and interdisciplinary studies. The challenges of the future will require us to think beyond traditional boundaries. As Zoe concluded her speech, the auditorium erupted in a cacophony of cheers, whistles, and various alien vocalizations of approval. The energy in the room was electric, a sense of new possibilities hanging in the air. In the days and weeks that followed, the Galactic University of Xenosciences underwent a transformation. The rigid hierarchies and secretive departments that had allowed the conspiracy to flourish were dismantled. In their place, a more open and collaborative structure emerged. Zoe found herself at the center of this new era of galactic academia. Her unique human perspective, combined with the knowledge she had gained during her time at the university, made her an invaluable bridge between Earth and the wider galactic community. As news of the events at the university spread, other human scientists and students began to arrive, eager to participate in this unprecedented exchange of knowledge. Each new human brought their own unique background and ideas, further enriching the tapestry of galactic academia. But it wasn't just humans who were changing the landscape. Inspired by Zoe's example, students from across the galaxy began to speak up, sharing insights from their own cultures and biology that had previously been overlooked. The university became a true melting pot of ideas, with breakthroughs in various fields occurring at an unprecedented rate. One evening, as Zoe stood on one of the university's observation decks, gazing out at the star-filled sky, she felt a presence beside her. It was Counselor Nebula, their cosmic form shimmering in the starlight. "You've started something remarkable, Zoe Chen," the counselor said, their voice like distant stellar winds. "The ripples of what happened here are spreading across the galaxy. Other institutions are following your example, opening their doors to a wider range of species and perspectives." Zoe smiled, a mix of pride and humility washing over her. "I just did what felt right. I couldn't have done it without everyone's help." Indeed, Nebula agreed, and that is perhaps the greatest lesson in all of this. The strength of the galaxy lies not in any one species or civilization, but in our ability to come together, to learn from each other, and to face the unknown as one. As they stood there, watching distant stars twinkle, Zoe felt a sense of peace settle over her. She had come to this alien world by accident, a lost girl far from home. But in the process, she had found a new home, a new purpose, and a new understanding of her place in the vast cosmic tapestry. The future stretched out before her, filled with endless possibilities. There were still challenges to face, mysteries to unravel, and new frontiers to explore. But now Zoe knew she wouldn't face them alone. She was part of something greater, a galactic community united in the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. As a new day dawned on the Galactic University of Xenotensis, Zoe Chen, the accidental ambassador of humanity, stepped forward into a future bright with the promise of discovery, cooperation, and the boundless potential of minds united across the stars.